Outside the Wire isn't your typical sci-fi action film. Sure, it features a number of breathtaking fight scenes. And yeah, you'll get to watch Anthony Mackie run around as a robot kicking all sorts of butt. But Outside the Wire also has something to say about warfare, technology, and the intersection between the two. And it's made with an attention to detail that makes the film's stark and gritty near-future world feel all the more convincing. In fact, much of Outside the Wire's best world building is subtle enough that you may not see it unless you know where to look. Here are all the small details you might have missed in Outside the Wire. For most of Outside the Wire, Victor Koval remains off-screen, but his presence is everywhere. Not only does his plot to retrieve old Soviet nuclear codes drive all of the movie's action, but his forces pop up time after time to cause trouble. However, while Harp and Leo often find themselves surprised by Koval's attacks, viewers often get a little warning, if they're watching carefully, that is. Koval's unique symbol, which looks a little bit like a V with a tick through it, is everywhere. It appears on a wall during the firefight that opens the film. It also appears numerous times in Leo's collection of photographs documenting Koval's activities. Once Harp and Leo get out in the field, the symbol takes on a prophetic quality. One of the symbols is graffitied on the side of a building that Leo and Harp pass just before their motorcade gets stopped. There's another scrawled on the wall inside the shelter they visit while dropping off the vaccine, foreshadowing the sniper attack inside. As the duo drive to the bank where the nuclear codes are held, they pass a barricade sporting the symbol. Basically, anytime that an attack by Koval's forces is imminent, the symbol appears. It's never good news. Thomas Harp isn't just a soldier. Outside of the military, he has a full and complete life that includes an adoring fiancée and a wedding to plan. His fiancée even has a cute pet name for Harp, Gummy Bear.
She calls you Gummy Bear? Oh, my Gummy Bear.
Outside the Wire never explains where Harp got his name, but the opening sequence offers one big clue. When we first meet Harp, he's sitting at his control station, guiding a military drone from thousands of miles away. There's a picture of Olivia taped to his screen, and he's casually snacking from a bag of, that's right, gummy bears. Gummy Bear isn't a bad label for Harp either. Unlike Leo, whose body is cold, steely, and lifeless, and whose morals are similarly rigid, Harp is soft, human. Sure, Gummy Bear is a funny nickname, but it also sets Harp apart from Leo.
I'm not a man, Lieutenant. I was created to simulate one to the exact necessity to do my damn job.
With the US Army, Koval's Russian-backed terrorists, and the growing rebellion, life in Krasnaya can be hard, and nobody knows that better than the country's children. Many of them have lost everything thanks to the people fighting. People like Harp.
Your bombs destroyed their homes.
That's not something that Outside the Wire dwells on, but you can see just how traumatic these kids' lives are by looking at the drawings hanging up in Sophia's office. Scattered among the crayon portraits of trains, fish, and princesses are a number of much more horrific images of war. The hand-drawn horrors are terrifying in their casualness, and their juxtaposition with other more normal images really drives home that the events depicted in Outside the Wire aren't unusual for these kids. They're simply part of everyday life, which makes them all the more chilling. Outside the Wire does an excellent job of building up Captain Leo before we meet him, making his entrance into the movie a big event.
Harp! He's not like us.
Just before Leo's face is revealed, the camera pans over 3 books he's been reading: Henry V, Black Reconstruction in America, and A People's History of the United States. They barely appear on screen, but once you know where Leo's story is headed, those 3 books are very revealing. Henry V is a portrait of a leader who glorifies war and an examination of his relationship with the people fighting on the front lines. Black Reconstruction in America fundamentally recontextualized the role of African Americans during the Civil War and Reconstruction. A People's History of the United States argues that America uses war to empower the upper class while exploiting the people underneath them. Taken all together, you can see how these 3 books sum up Leo's philosophy and go a long way towards explaining his motives. They're also a nice bit of foreshadowing, assuming of course you're quick enough to catch all 3 titles as they whiz by. Thanks for watching. Click the links in our video to watch more from Netflix Film Club. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest exclusive videos. Plus, hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.